Let's do a quick roundup of what I'm reading at the moment, which is quite the array. Did I ever tell you guys this story? Because boy, is there one. So this is my little sister Audrey's car, and one winter morning she walks into her car or she gets into her car and she's like, what happened in here? Like, my roof is leaking. Like, did it rain last night? What is going on? And then she sees a Coke can with the top completely, like, the can came apart. It didn't just pop open. It literally, the entire top just like was removed from it, which doesn't make any sense because it was in the winter. So it's like, why you would think that cold shrinks. Anyways, that's what that is. Dr. Pepper. Have we ever taken the time to clean it or go get it detailed? No. Anyways, I'm on my way to Cassie's house. We are going to do some filming today. I want to run through all of my books that I'm currently reading because I'm in the middle of like 5 and they're all pretty good. Last night, I started The God of the Woods. And I literally had a nightmare about it. I'm one of those people who their dreams are greatly affected by their real life. I feel like some people have like these really bizarre, exotic dreams, aliens invading, or I don't know. One time as a kid, I had a dream that the Bugs Life characters were like the size of dinosaurs and I was the size of a bug and they were chasing me, and that was like my most reoccurring dream I've ever had in my life. So that I feel like is weird, but now that I'm talking about it, it's not, because it's literally, it's the same thing. It's influenced by my real life. I had watched A Bug's Life. Well, yesterday, I get to a creepy part of The God of the Woods, and I had a nightmare about it. And then I also, which Cassie's in the bathroom, so I want to tell you this story too, Cassie. I'm supposed to be doing my makeup, and I'm the worst multitasker you've ever met. I'm literally using the viewfinder to do my makeup. So I'm basically doing my makeup blind. So last night, I started God of the Woods. Oh wait, no, this is not the story. Last night, I literally had a dream that this famous YouTuber, which I'm not going to say who it is, but it has nothing to do with her, like literally at all. I don't know why. In my dream, she had gotten all of this plastic surgery and like this facelift, and she looked literally nothing like she used to look.
It's like it's frozen or something.
Oh, this? I got a Botox injection today.
Botox treatment.
It was still her voice, but I was like watching a YouTube video in my sleep. Haunted by how busted her face was. And I was just like traumatized. Like, it was like really, I was really sad and like broken up about it. So weird. I do not think I sleep well. I woke up so early, and I literally woke up at 3 this morning. I rarely remember my dreams. I don't think any of my dreams have ever meant anything. That's just not true. Like, that's just not possible. What have they meant? I don't know, but they have to mean something. They don't come out of nowhere. Like, your brain is coming up with them somehow, right? I can't see freaking crap out of this thing.
I can't see out of this thing.
Where in the crud is my coffee? I'm like playing a game with myself. Literally do 1 step, drink. 1 step, drink. Anyways, the plan for today, we have so much to get done. Cassie's like, so what did you ask me to do? Asked me to do something, and I was like, oh, my to-do list today is already busted out full. But I'm gonna go through all the books that I'm reading right now, because like I said, I'm reading like 5 or 6. And then I need to make the list of things or books that I need to read in order of importance and priority, because there's a lot on my TBR and a lot of videos that I want to get filmed soon, because we are fall, winter girlies, and it's my favorite reading season. So my TBR is also busted out. So I need to figure out which ones I'm reading first, which ones I need to go buy, which ones I already have the physical copy of, and then which ones I'm just gonna read on Kindle, and schedule out the videos that we are doing over the next few weeks, and then edit 2 videos. 1 minisode for Patreon, which Cassie and I are hosts, creators, directors, all the things for Blood and Business podcast. I just realized that was probably so creepy with my eye clamped. And we have a Patreon where we post mini podcast episodes. And this month's is about a martyr, and it has sat with me, like haunted me, like a good book haunts you. That is how this episode has haunted me. And I've just been listening to Blessed Assurance over and over and over again. And then I'm also reading Revelation in my Bible studies in the morning. So I'm just in it right now, which is, I think, why I'm so into mystery thrillers, because I can't take anything like actually sad. I need something else that's like kind of heavy, but sits with you in a different way. I'm not like carrying around this like, because the whole martyr story is just so, it's like you have heavy feelings of like gratitude, gratefulness, but also sadness, and I don't know. I'm just too existential for all of it right now. Anyways, let's go film something else. Let's go do what? Oh, let's talk about books, or my other books. Did you take my mascara? Yes, you did. Freaking thief. Yeah, you took my mascara. I took it? After you talked about how good it was. No, I didn't take it. Well, it's not in my makeup bag. Watch me be sitting on it. Yeah, for sure. I did not. Oh, yeah, I think it's right here. Okay. I was just sitting and doing our weekly newsletter for Blood and Business, and I was like, this is so much fun. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm literally making like a scrapbook Pinterest inspo board for fun for our newsletter. And then I go over to my paper journal and like basically book journal what I did each week, because I hate using technology. I'm a paper and pen person. So I just write it down. I write down what media recommendation I did each week, and then what quote I did so that I don't duplicate it. But here's our newsletter. Basically, we just start out with all of our links, and we send out a media recommendation each week. So sometimes it's a movie, sometimes it's a book. Then we do a little cute aesthetic photo, a little note from us, and then we just finished our website, so we have that on there. And then a little quote for some inspiration. XO, Cass and Beth, Blood and Business. Blood and Business is our podcast. We do like biographical stories, full length deep dives of siblings who have gone into business together. So it's basically like families who have gone into business together. We've done the Disneys, we've done the Kennedy siblings, we've done the Kardashians, we do the Bouvier sisters, which is Jackie Kennedy and her sister. Then we have like an after show episode every other week. So after we do like the main scripted story episode, then we'll like debrief the next week, and there's always so much to talk about. But this is going out to our Blood and Business listener newsletter subscribers. So we do a little recap on what we did that week in case anyone missed anything, and some of our links. But it's just a really fun to get in your inbox, and also really fun for me to make every week. Let's do a quick roundup of what I'm reading at the moment, which is quite the array, and honestly pretty varied. So we have, which I mentioned earlier, The God of the Woods, which is really good. I'm on page, oh, I'm further than I thought. I'm on page 83, and it's really good. As you heard earlier, it gave me a nightmare. Then on my Kindle, I'm reading-ish Yellowface, because I need a, like, I call them trashy novels, but they're not trashy. They're just like very surface level and easy to pick up, and you can read it throughout like a month, and it doesn't really matter. There's not a lot of detail. It's a really basic modern story. I really only read them at night when I'm trying to fall asleep, because reading does not help me fall asleep. It keeps me awake, and so I need something that is really light and I'm not very interested in to fall asleep, because I also don't want to be on my phone, and I don't want to have to hold a hardback open. So that's what Yellowface is for. Then Tolkien, a biography by Michael White. I am pleasantly surprised how quickly I picked this up and worked my way through it. It's one of those ones that is like a full-on game for me. Everyone that he mentions, I'm Googling, I want to know about them, I want to kind of like paint the world for myself. It also is a book that I kind of treat like self-help, spiritual, Christian books. Although I am reading it for pleasure, obviously, I am really, really interested in the people, in the timeline. It's talking about C.S. Lewis, the Inklings, World War II, his friends from college, his relationship with his wife. It's a biography, so it's obviously loaded with information, and Tolkien is someone who I've always been so curious about. I've never read any of the Lord of the Rings books, and I want to do that as a video soon. I want to read all of Lord of the Rings, well, all. It's literally one book, which I didn't know before reading this, that it's literally one book broken up into 3 parts. So that's cool. But I'm learning all sorts of fun facts, like his name was John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, and everyone called him Ronald. Which, does Tolkien look like a Ronald? He doesn't. Which, he was a jokester. I always pictured Tolkien as like some introvert, very like serious academic, weird, but he was like, they said he could talk to a wall. Like, he was just always talking to everyone. Crazy. And his schedule was insane. Like, from sunup until sundown, he was doing something. He rarely slept. He lived a very isolated childhood. He was raised a little bit by his mom, and then, well, he was raised in, wait, anyways, you don't care. Had a very isolated childhood. His mom ended up homeschooling him, and then his mom tragically passes away. He's like 12, and his dad had already died when he was 4, and so a Catholic priest ends up being his guardian, but doesn't live with him because he's a priest, so he can't live with family. He has to live on the convent, or is that what it's called, the convent? He ends up living in like some type of guest house, like boarding house with all these other adults. Really, really interesting. Really, really like packed with information. And just,
I didn't know you were tabbing that.
Yeah, annotating it, tabbing
oh my gosh,
it.
Are you gonna do
all the things.
an episode?
I wasn't going to.
Like flip and you read.
There's also I just got to the part, read the first chapter where C.S. Lewis is heavily in it, and I found out some things about C.S. Lewis, which I have read C.S. Lewis books. I've read like every C.S. Lewis book.
C.S. Lewis authored, not about C.S. Lewis.
Correct. The book, oh, because I said I have not read.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings. I haven't read any of Tolkien's books. 0, zilch, none. Anyways, still learning about C.S. Lewis, things I didn't know when I have read all of the books that he actually wrote. His speeches, I feel like I was way more well-versed in the C.S. Lewis world than Tolkien, and in the Tolkien biography, I'm finding out facts about C.S. Lewis. So, like I said, just very layered, and I'm like Googling things and contemplating things, and his relationship with, well, people, life itself, and God are also really deep, and like things that you just want to kind of like take slowly, or you're not going to get the full benefit of the book. Another book that's sort of like that, not at all, but sort of, that I'm like really taking slowly, Knowing Scripture by R.C. Sproul. And I always have one book like this going at all times. Very thin, but again, it takes me 2 weeks to a month to go through a book like this, because again, any of their mentors or people that are in their circle, I want to know more about. And I want to at least, bare minimum, Google them or read about them on Wikipedia and see if they've had an interesting life. Because sometimes you come across people that you're like, whoa, they are even cooler than R.C. Sproul himself, which very few are. This year I've really focused on reading these older, which some of them aren't, like John Piper, a lot more modern, but some of the like classic Christian writers, theologians, I have always been curious about, but have never been in a place in my life where I feel like I was going to fully be able to like sink my teeth into their work and process. Even some C.S. Lewis stuff I read while I was in college, and I just read it like a normal book. I know for sure if I went back through and actually like took my time, annotated them, I would get so much more out of them. I'll put a couple of other book covers on the screen that are kind of like this one that I will pick up and read after my Bible study in the morning. I do not replace my Bible study obviously with this, and I spend a lot more time in the mornings reading the actual Bible and then Bible commentary. I used to do a chapter every morning of a book, from a book like this, but here recently I've probably only been doing like 3 or 4 pages in the morning. This one especially reads a lot more like a textbook. Most of them do, because you're just like contemplating, I don't know, spirituality, theology, philosophy, morality, all of the things. And so that also takes like obviously a lot more time to annotate, research, and like really think about what you think about those things. So then that brings me to the Bible, which I want to get a different Bible once I get through this, because I heavily annotate the Bible. You can barely read my writing. So right now I'm reading Revelation, and I either do a chapter a morning, or sometimes if it's just a lot, it's basically just how much I can process in the morning and how much commentary I want to read on it. Like if it's a scripture that I've read a lot about previously, or I feel like has been preached about a lot and I really understand, I obviously won't spend as much time on it and I'll read a chapter or two that morning. If I feel like I have not dissected it super well or thought about it, or I feel like the Holy Spirit has revealed something new to me, or maybe I understood the concept but it didn't like really hit me, like I didn't need it in that season of my life, and then that morning I do, I obviously take it a lot slower and maybe only read like 4 verses, and then spam Cassie at 4 in the morning with all of my thoughts about it. I'm like overly emotional in the morning, not overly, but like I'm less in the matrix is what it is. I'm more in the spirit, like ready to be in the spiritual realm and be talking to God obviously and setting aside time for that. And then once my workaholism kicks in, I'm more in the matrix and I'm less emotional and contemplative. So all my 4 a.m. texts are pretty hefty. Audrey always gets irritated because they get so long that you have to literally click on it for it to open up the text. That is what happens. So obviously that is always ongoing. Then the last 2 I'm gonna have Cassie come and talk about The Last Supper on the Moon because I have dabbled in this. What was supposed to happen was we were all gonna read it together. My mom, Cassie, me, and Audrey. And then Cassie and Audrey just took off and like were obsessed with it. Me and my mom were a little bit less interested in it at the moment because it does heavily read like self-help. I am not a huge self-help. I much prefer books like this, and Audrey and Cassie like more of the modern Christian theology and text commentary and stuff. Like I like to read like people's
that's true.
biographies. I like to read modern
Books
stories
in general.
like Drew Barrymore.
Anyone.
Tori
And I
Peterson, she's like a foster kid who she ended up winning like Miss USA or Miss whatever, and she's like a big advocate for foster kids, foster youth, and like what they need basically. And I read her book in like 2 days. Yeah, I think it's the perfectionism maybe. Well, also the fact that I love,
and if you're going to read a book, you don't want, like I will just read a book and like it's fine. I read any takeaways.
But the thing is, like, if I want to spend time reading a book, it better be the best book I've like. Unless it's like this. This is the why I have my.
Well, you're literally thinking about DNFing it.
Anyways, okay, The Last Supper on the Moon. It does have some really cool concepts.
It does. And it's like, okay, is this the end all be all of everything? No. But it's really fun and nice to have like a mix between like a devotional, like it's, you know how those little things are like a one day entry or whatever, mixed with a reference book, mixed with a like
biography kind of memoir.
Yes, an actual nonfiction just book. Because I love history, obviously. And I love JFK. And I love the 60s, mid-century, the moon, and so it's, and I also think that part of it is just I love psychology, I love culture, I love people, I love what makes people excited, I love what makes people like have wonder, and I just like dreams. People. I like pop culture. So this is a lot of that, and then putting it in a light of like, it just uses
analogies or metaphors.
Yeah, analogies. Yeah, and like I'm trying to think of what's the thing that where it like uses a picture, like
imagery,
not iconography, but yeah, I guess imagery to paint Christian thoughts and ideas.
It does have I have never read a book that is so good at being such a modern take.
Yeah.
Yet completely has all the historical context and keeps referencing the past in such a like heavy-handed way. It does have a lot of fun facts too in there that are just like make it fun.
Yeah.
That you can carry around with you.
Yeah, like and like the things that came from us going to the moon.
Yes, like that was really cool too.
Scotch guard and
a ton of like medical technology and stuff.
I don't remember what they are.
That you would never think
but
of.
It's really cool.
Like beds that like don't create bed sores or
like
memory foam.
So much stuff we discovered and invented because we had to make something for the spaceship to go to the moon. So that's the type of stuff that like if you enjoy reading about that and then it applies it to like, this also is marketed as like if you are going through a freaking rough patch and you've lost a little bit of your wonder, your inspiration, this is very childlike.
It's the little kid in The Incredibles on the tricycle with the gum popping being like,
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
Life is more fun when you just are like amazed, you know?
You understand that everything, it like took something to get this here.
Yes.
You know, everything is so layered and then it becomes like existential and
Wow, the moon is so far away and I am so insignificant
In
yet
relation.
Also, that's the same moon that everyone who's ever lived on this planet has looked up at the same moon, so then I'm just as significant as them, and so
Yeah.
it's just like, you're both and.
Okay, the last book I have, which I was a hater on that book and didn't DNF it, but like
Audrey went on without her and she was like, okay.
have yet to continue reading it. This is what Cassie did with this book. It's John Mark Comer's The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, which
is exactly our personalities.
yeah, Cassie literally blew my mind with
I'm
this. She
like,
was like,
I
I don't need to be told to slow down. I am a slow person.
Yeah.
I need this, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to have wonder and awe and think
Yeah.
everything's amazing because I already do, which I
do too, but sometimes I don't give myself permission.
yeah, she thinks it's
And I
stupid
forget how important it is and how God is the creator of the universe. He's an artist and he created me to be that way too. And there's purpose and reason for it. You know, whenever you go through times in your life where it's like
just
all cut the
survival,
fluff,
necessity,
and then-
utility.
yeah, so I'm trying to like, okay,
Back the
what's the balance? Because there have been times in my life when I was also just here for a good time,
Yeah.
not for a long time.
yeah, and realized, hey, maybe that's not the key to life either.
Yeah.
You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
So anyways, yeah, this is a good one. It is a really fun, again with the fun facts of like the random things, like there's this one survey that they took and I think it was like the 60s and they were like, okay, imagine people in 20 years, what's life gonna look like? And they thought that people were gonna be working 20-hour work weeks, like robots were gonna be doing everything for us. We were all gonna be just golfing during the day and playing tennis and going on vacation all the time. Also the difference in the 60s, all of the rich had plenty of time for luxury and going on vacation and relaxing, and they all had country clubs. Yeah,
It's
country
almost
clubs
like flipped.
and then
Now the lower class is the people who have more free time.
and the rich are like hustling, working
Slaves.
nights, working weekends, working 80+ hours a week.
Yeah.
So that's also just so crazy to think about, and I'm sure there's going to be a swing back the other way, and then
Well, and I
it'll
think this
constantly
also
be
makes you
rotating.
made me think, okay, yeah, I need to figure out how to work smarter and not harder, because there is so much at our fingertips just like readily available for us to use to allow us to work less.
yeah, to give us more free time
And I want to do that.
and actually use the free time
Yeah.
as quiet time, as pleasure time, as bonding time, as connecting time.
Creating, thinking, dreaming. But the last thing that I highlighted was not to pray for a weaker burden, but instead a stronger back. Because we always are like, Lord, help this work out, like help this to be remedied, or take this away, or help me to feel peace or joy about it. Hardships do make us stronger. And I've always known, like, okay, if this is hard, then it's making me stronger and that's great or whatever. But to actually pray and ask for that.
Like, help me to learn this lesson as fast as I can.
Yes. On to the next. Give me a stronger back.
Which I thought about that the other night, or I think it was last night, literally, how God does not allow us to like have success in things, or I don't know, bear certain fruit until we've learned the lesson, and it's up to us to just how long that takes.
Yeah.
But we have definitely sat in failure or in limbo, in chaos.
Longer than we should.
Years longer. So it's like almost the Calvinist view of like, yeah, like if really nothing good or bad comes to me without, well, and it's just the biblical view, without God allowing it, permitting it, because I
Actively, intentionally. Like, he didn't just forget to, like,
right.
address something.
It's like everything is passing through him that gets to me. That is true, but it's like how long you're in that season is more up to me. And those are the things that are not
good
God
right there.
necessarily. Yeah, these stupid little books, they actually do something for you. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Can we talk about books or what? Also, I've been snacking on these and they're so good. They're made out of cassava, so if you can only eat weird foods, this might be one of those weird foods that you can eat. Love you. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you later. Bye. Me and my sister Cassie work from home. We have a podcast together. It's an investigative history podcast. It's called Blood and Business. It's a good time. It's a juicy time if you love stories, if you love deep, emotional, like mind-bending stories. It's very mystery meets true crime, heavy on the like light on the dry historical facts, heavy on the drama, the story. Just go watch an episode and you will completely understand what we're talking about. It's a wild time. I recommend either the Marilyn Monroe episodes. I mean, straight up, that is like a thriller. We talk lots of toxicity, lots of trauma, I mean, it's Hollywood in the 1960s. It's the Depression, it's wartime, it's like if a blockbuster met a documentary, that's what it is, in a podcast. A lot of people compare us to The Crown. They say, like, if The Crown was a podcast about the Kennedy family, that's what we deliver, which I take as a compliment because The Crown is very popular. I've never seen it, so I can't vet that. It's also romance. Like, how did we not say that? Hello, JFK and Jackie. Hello, Marilyn Monroe. It is literally romance, drama, thriller, but it's all true. So it's also history. It's also like biography, but the feeling of history and the feeling of a biography is just, it's like not an accurate description of the feel. It's so much more drama, romance, thriller feeling. So anyways, I feel like it'd be more thriller than mystery. See, episode 18 is a mystery, but the rest of it is just thriller. But the whole thing, you're like, who, what? Okay, say that too. It's like, who loves who? Who's being real? It's so, it is a mystery. Really? Yes, what are people's motives? Why are you really here? Is Frank Sinatra a true friend? Did JFK actually sleep with these people? Like, who's involved? Who's running the White House? Is JFK really the president? Is it RFK? Is it Eunice or is it Joe? Where's the mob? Where's it the mob? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? The entire thing is like, who done it? You're right. And every after show is just us literally digging deep, looking at the facts and being like, is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Everyone's innocent until proven guilty, so like, let's figure this out. And then we figure it out. And those are our after shows. The Maryland episodes, borderline psychological thriller, like you don't know who to trust. Is this narrator reliable? Drugs are laced throughout. So like, is it the meth talking? I mean, come on. If you like books, if you like movies, if you like a good story, like if you have, well, that's mean. If you have half a brain. If you have half a brain and half a heart, you're gonna love it. It's the most epic thing I've ever heard in my life. Enjoy. It's so true. It's freaking, it's crazy when you think about it.